Okay, hello everybody. It's 3:40 on May 17th, and we are actually out on the arena right now, and just wanted to, while I can, give a update of the field and the arena, what the teams, are doing, and still who's still around here. We are on, well, this is hour 40, and the teams that are left in the arena. They're doing a great job. Great job. I just came down from shooting scenario number 5, mugging, and that should be in the northern part up in the mountains that you can see. It's on the western side of the arena on the map. And we had 2 teams up there that negotiated it, and that was Team 4040 and Team Kafaru. And both did a fantastic job. That is our scenario where you're out jogging and you meet or you hear someone around the corner, around the bend that sounds like somebody's getting beaten, and you choose to respond. But basically, we have a Jake that's that's surrounded by targets, and they're knockdown targets. So when you shoot them, they all fall off. And it's 7 rounds and 12 targets. Excuse me, I said that backwards. 12 rounds and 7 targets. I've been up for a while. But it's a relay. So they have to run right around 150 meters, engage, and then get cleared off by the evaluator, run back to the start point. This is a 2 evaluator scenario. And then the second team member will run up and engage, and they run back, and then they get briefed that they have to transport the Jake to a evacuation area. So at that point, they'll gather gear and they'll move up and stage it, and then grab that Jake. We have 2 of them up there, and they get to choose between the Jakes. Very deceptive. And both teams so far have picked the wet Jakes because they are assuming that it's the lighter Jakes, but it's actually the heavier Jakes. And we don't tell them either way. That's up to them for what they're going to choose. So both teams did a very good job. We have a raft up there, and what they have to do is transport that Jake across one of the dams up in our backcountry at the NRA Whittington Center to an island. It's technically not an island, but they're treated as such. And I made a raft out of 2 posts, little pontoon raft, and I hope you can hear me all right. It's pretty windy out here. But made out of 2 posts and a pallet. You have to tie the Jake onto that and then float it across and then pull it up onto the bank. I had an orange box that I made out of rocks that I painted, and it's not easy at all. The Jake that everybody so far has been handling is about 250 pounds, and to float him across. So it's very inspiring to watch because they don't have to do that. They can say, no, I'm not going to. And every team out here, they get achievement points whenever they meet one of their coordinates. So they don't know, in this trial, they don't know what the coordinates are. So as long as the first step in their scoring is if they make that point, then they get 100 points. And then the second is a performance point. So whatever that is, if it's a physical obstacle like the Gravedigger that I've been talking about before, where they had to bury the Jakes, that's 300 points. So they get a total of 400 points for that specific point. The shooting scenarios for each successful hit on the targets are 10. And since our competitors have been bringing the ammunition themselves this time, we've really upped the round count and made our scenarios a little more elaborate. And that's one thing that I have taken away from this trial and it's what's made it so fun for me and for the evaluators and for the competitors especially, are the dynamic movements within them. It's just about every single one except for there's a bonus stage that I posted with Kafaru that shot, excuse me, with the shotgun. And I have another team that's Terror Victor is about to hit it here in just a few minutes. But everything else, and there's a restaurant, it's called This Is a Robbery, that I talked about before. That's pretty simple. They just get up and engage some very difficult targets. This is kind of our command center right here. And the vehicles, we're moving people around in our evaluators. We try and track teams and try to be one step in front of them. And that's not always the easiest thing to do. But so far, I mean, I can't say enough about my evaluators. They are the best that I've seen in this trial, especially. They've done such a great job, and they've been up for 48 hours. And I mean, we've been up and down and trying to get everybody to where they can sleep a little bit, but very tough. I mean, and you know, they definitely care about what they're doing out here, because a survival trial is about an experience for everybody, and now you at home, you know, you're able to watch this, and I give you updates on the family members and friends, and just anybody that you're looking at on here and want to know what it's about. But it is an experience, and it's something that these teams, you know, these competitors, they take away from, and they can you know, fall back on for the rest of their lives, you know, because I do, and the competitors do too, or the evaluators do too. So coming down from that, Team Kafaru and Team 4040, they did a very good job up there. 4040 is now coming south again. They're going to hit some of the scenarios in the middle. Kafaru is going to continue on north. As you can see, like from yesterday, half of the field it just went up and around on the north side, and now whoever's left, they're starting to work their way south. And Kafaru did the opposite, and 4040 did the opposite. But Kafaru is going to stay on and continue on up over the top. So they're looking very good and strong. They were the winners, first survivors of the last survival trial, and they are extremely fit and work together well, and they think outside of the box very well. It's been really a pleasure to watch them and just about every other team that's out here negotiate our physical obstacles and the physical portions that are attached to the shooting scenarios. That's the whole point of what we're doing here, is to get our competitors to think about the different alternatives and to utilize their packing lists and the items around them. And by far, Kafaru has done a very good job of that. So we'll watch them, and we'll keep an eye on them as they work their way across. Down south is a whole different area. In my opinion, down south is much more difficult, and it's mainly because it's bigger. The terrain is very deceptive because it's flat. It's hard to tell on the map, but it is. And if you've seen some of the videos, it's much different than up north in the mountains. I'm looking at it right now. I can see two teams coming across too. But you know, to land nav like this, especially once it starts to get dark, there's a lot of things that you got to take into account. Number one is that everything is further than what you think it is, for sure. And you know, I mean, there are things out here that you can't see just looking across, like the little wadis and the arroyos that they'll go down and have to go under while they're carrying their weight. The ground itself, it's kind of patchy, so it's not like walking on a flat ground. It's if your feet are already tore up to begin with, it's gonna be very difficult. So it's going to continue to degrade your body, and that's really what you're working against right there. Is trying to keep your body in its best shape for as long as possible. So for the most part, everybody's doing that, but we're starting to get, you know, to the late time now. We're on hour 40, 8 hours left, and you know, everybody, there's just a lot of impact. They're carrying weight when they have to negotiate these scenarios and the physical obstacles. They're moving. We just watched Gray Tactical, excuse me. They finished at the physical obstacle number 3, I believe. But that's our grave digger where they were digging, and they started out. I posted some pictures on the Facebook page with garden trowels, and basically their idea was to not carry a big shovel with weight, but in this case a shovel would really help you out. And instead of being potentially, you know, 15 minutes, it's 2.5 hours, because the ground there is very hard, and worked much more. So the payoff with the weight, you know, work ratio in that case wasn't the best, but they weren't the only ones. I mean, just about everyone that came in here, some of them had entrenching tools, which were very good, but there was just a lot of sacrificing size for weight, which, you know, didn't pay off. So they're heading down south right now, and they're down around the airport, and there's a mental challenge down there that we can see that they're negotiating. The physical obstacle that's to the direct west of them is it's a waterborne obstacle, so they'll have to get wet. And we're at a point now when you get wet, it's a serious thing. The two that were up north, they're wet right now. Kafaru got wet with their shoes, you know, and they've done that each time, and that's amazing to me, because you know, as it starts to go on, it'll really take its toll on the body, on your feet. You got to protect those, but they've been doing it, you know, it doesn't seem to phase them, so that's very impressive. So we'll see what happens there with the teams as they go down. There's another water obstacle down south that they'll hit Team Great Tactical if they make it down that far. As things start to change here, and especially as it starts to get colder, or as well, it's going to get colder, but as the darkness falls. They made it through last night, and last night was very difficult for everybody. It was cold, the wind was blowing, and it was relentless. You know, and it's that's how it is here, anyways. That's, I mean, I don't know if you can hear it or not. That's why I'm in the vehicle. Otherwise, I'd be outside talking, because otherwise you won't be able to hear me. But it's you know, northeastern New Mexico weather where it just continues to blow and it doesn't seem to shut off. And when it gets down to, you know, low 40s, high 30s, and then when your body is starting to get, you know, beat up anyways from walking, having to lift and move things, and your gear rubbing against you, clothing rubbing against you, you know, it's just not a good feeling. And it's just one of those things that you just have to resign yourself to, that this is going to stop. This will end when the sun comes up, and you just think about the sun and continue moving. That's it. Keep walking till the sun comes up. And that's what mostly everybody did. Some of them sat down. I gave for this one, if they stopped moving for longer than 4 hours, they were disqualified. So that gives them an opportunity to bed down, but I'm finding that's a little bit too long for a 48-hour race. So we'll see what we take away from that. Now, as they move south, they have quite a bit of ground to cover. So we're looking for them to at least do one more shooting scenario, and this is Great Tactical, and a physical obstacle before the time is actually up. Kafaru, I see them making it up to the very top in what we call a rendezvous area, and doing the physical obstacle up there. Terra Victor, I haven't had a chance to talk to them yet, besides this morning. So I'll see them here in just a few minutes, and we'll talk to them and see how they're feeling and how their feet are faring. They're starting to get tore up there, and that's, you know, to be expected. And finally, who we have left here? 4040 is coming down. And 4040 will be up here. I'm actually on shooting scenario number 3, and that's the carjacking. And that's something, when they start it, you know, they're not going to stop it, and they'll finish it through. 4040 actually just picked up the golden basket. The golden basket has been with me the entire time. I hide the golden basket out in the arena, and then when the competitors come across it, they can make that choice, and then whatever the value is, it's going to be directly, the ratio to that's going to be directly how much it's going to weigh. So the golden basket for this were 2 Glock 23s, and that's supplied by Professional Marksman Incorporated and the NRA Whittington Center, were the sponsors for the golden basket this time. And we want to make it, you know, worthwhile for the teams, because when they pick up that golden basket, they can't put it back down again. We've had the golden basket with us this entire time, and we thought about that just for this specific one, since we have different tiers of different classes of competitor, you know, how are we going to do that to make it fair? So like a 24-hour team is not just going to pick it up for 6 hours and then, you know, they get the golden basket. So I kept it, and I haven't said anything about it. I've had 3 teams ask about it, and that's it. And we finally had a team ask about it, and they just went into the back of the vehicle and picked it up and took it. That's what I was looking for, because that is the golden basket. That is thinking outside of what the parameters were set and doing what you're supposed to do in the survival trial. So I think I'm very proud of Team 4040, and there's big congratulations for that, because I didn't think anybody was going to pick it up. I know that I wouldn't. If I saw a race director driving around and there's equipment in the back, I just assume that it's not out yet, even though I brief it that it's out in the arena. I haven't left the arena. So this whole time, and every single team that's been here has seen that golden basket, because I've hit everybody and filled up their waters at least one time at a minimum. So Team 4040 will post a video here and show them picking that up and taking it away. It doesn't actually, it's just a box. So we wanted them to use their brain for this one. They're already uncomfortable as it is, so we'll see how that affects that. We did lose a team too, Team Del Rio. They pulled out about, I'd say 11 o'clock, and very tough team. They did such a fantastic job out here, and decided to, you know, they reached their goals and found their limits, and that's you know, that's the point of the survival trial. It is the ultimate test, and we're here to test everything. We will make you very, very uncomfortable here in a safe but effective fashion. We want something. We want this experience to be a lasting one. We want you to earn these things out here. We want you to walk away better and seeing life in a different way. So we lost Team Del Rio, but they are very happy with where they were, and they're planning on coming back, and we're going to be excited to see them out here again. I think that's it for all the big stuff. As far as everybody's how they're doing out here, they're sore and they're tired, and that's everybody. It doesn't matter. From Kafaru, 4040, Terra Victor, and Gray Tactical. Gray Tactical is doing very well when I saw them last, but they just dug for 2.5 hours, and they're about to get wet unless they forego it. Most of the teams are starting to get smarter in their planning. It's not like we're not trying to trap them or anything, but they have the option. Well, it's a requirement to plan their routes and what they're going to do. So if I have that option to not do a water activity, I'm not going to do it. They do get, it's a high payoff though. It's worth it. Okay, so this arena is my favorite arena so far, and these teams out here, I'm extremely I haven't really slept this whole time. This is the longest I stayed up with a survival trial before. It's not the longest I've stayed up. It's the longest I stayed up with a survival trial without catching a couple, hours of sleep and stuff. And it's I don't really feel like sleeping because it's so exciting to watch these teams move around out here and all the exciting things that they've been doing. So we got a few more hours left here. I'll pop up now that I know we can get up here on the road, and we'll update everybody. Your family members and friends are doing just fine. There's no reason to worry about anything. It's up to them if they're going to pull out. I'm going to be shocked if we lose any more. All right, and you should be very proud of that. All right, so it is 4 o'clock, and we have 8 hours remaining on the STVII Daybreaker. If you have questions specifically about your friends or loved ones that are out here, or just about the teams and stuff, you've been following them, get up on Facebook and post a question or send us a message on there. You can text me too. Probably won't get that. I get the Facebook stuff faster, but we'll get back to you. I want to get back to everybody with any questions and kind of answer anything about what we do out here. Because the survival trial, it's an enigma, and that's what makes it so great. Okay, I'm John Weiler, and I will see you all here in a couple of hours, and I'll give you an update as to how everybody's doing. I'm going to post some more pics here up on the Facebook page, too, of what we just saw here in the last few hours. Okay, we will see you all then.